This is Dan Markel, and on the morning of July 18th, 2014, Dan was parking his car in the garage at his home in Tallahassee, Florida, after spending the morning dropping his children off at school and going to the gym. He was sitting in the driver's seat when he was suddenly shot and killed by an unknown attacker. Family, friends, and police were baffled at how such an upstanding citizen could meet such a senseless end. Investigators began digging into Dan's personal life, seeking for some sort of motive that someone might have had to commit such a cold-blooded crime. Having received his Juris Doctorate from Harvard Law, Dan Markel was a successful lawyer and then a law professor at Florida State University. He would go on to marry and have two beautiful children with a woman named Wendi Adelson. That marriage, unfortunately, ended in a very vicious divorce where both Dan and Wendi would have a drawn-out battle in court over custody of their children. Police started their investigation by interviewing Wendi, and Wendi starts that interview by saying she just listened to an unsettling voicemail. A friend had left a message on her phone saying that there had been a shooting on the street that her children and her ex-husband, Dan Markel, still lived on.
Who was your voicemail?
It's from Lisa Carey, who is my real estate agent, or who I had gone with to find a house. She just said she was driving around town and she heard there was a shooting on Trescott.
Yeah, that's what this is about. I'm sorry you had to hear it that way.
I'm sorry, I didn't know if I should.
It's all right, just leave it there. Is it still on?
It's right there.
Do you want to just hit play again for me?
Sure.
It's Lisa Carey. It is Friday, and I feel like an idiot doing this, but I just heard that there was a shooting over on Trescott, and I promise I'm not trying to be dramatic or even nosy. I don't know, just checking on you, my friend. I hope all is well. I hope your sweet boys are well, and if there's anything you need, let me know. It just ran a chill down my spine when I heard that there was something going on Trescott. All right, 212-3083. Hope all is well, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
That's all right. You can stop it. Or does it stop automatically?
It's done.
Okay. Do you have your identification with you?
The only information Wendi has is that the police called her and told her to come in, and that there was a shooting incident near where Dan and her children live. Any rational person hearing this information would likely jump to the same conclusion, that both of these events are related and that they would be adamant to know what happened, or at the very least if their children were safe from danger. Remember, this is supposed to be the first time that Wendi has had any sort of knowledge about something happening, and her reactions are peculiar to say the least.
So you never took the last name of Markel?
No.
Adelson. Okay. Wendi with an I. All right. There was a shooting at your home, or your ex-husband's home, at 2116 Trescott. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, before we get into everything, I have to establish where you were and who you were with and so forth. Okay? And then once we've established all that, I can give you more details.
Okay.
Do you understand why I wanted you to come here before I discuss this?
Oh my God. Oh
That's okay. No, you have nothing to be sorry about.
I just don't understand. How could this happen?
Can you let me get over this hump, okay? Can we do that first? All right. Can you tell me what time you left your house this morning?
Yeah, I was there. I didn't leave this morning. I didn't leave until noon.
Okay. And
oh my God! And I tried to drive up Trescott, and I saw that it was blocked.
It was blocked at some point. I'm not sure what time it was blocked.
And I just thought, oh, there's maybe some trees down or something. Because sometimes.
Oh, you're saying as you drove down which one of the side roads?
When I'm going to a friend's party tonight, and it's a oh my God, what am I even talking about?
Don't forget, Wendi and Dan went through a bitter-to-the-bone divorce and custody battle. It's understandable to be upset at someone's passing, or more specifically, the passing of your children's father, and even more so due to the senselessly violent nature of their passing. But Wendi and Dan's relationship was not healthy at all. In fact, Wendi had even tried to get the court's blessing to take full custody of their children and move across the country, and would even verbally express her hatred of Dan to their children when she had custody of them.
I needed to buy it's a stock the shelf engagement party, and so I went to buy bourbon.
Okay.
So I went to drive from my place up Trescott to get to ABC Liquor, and it was blocked. So I just turned around. I was on the phone at the time. I wasn't paying a lot of attention.
Right.
So I just turned around and drove up the other way. I just thought, oh, sometimes when I lived there were electrical things that would happen. I left my house around 12:15 because I thought I'll get the bourbon and then I'll get some gas for the car and maybe get super glue for one of the boys' toys. And I was trying to do all I can before meeting my two friends at 1.
Okay, who was at your house this morning?
The only person that was at my house this morning was a guy from Best Buy, because my TV was broken and it's under warranty.
Easy for you.
Yeah, I figured.
Okay, a guy from Best Buy was at your house to work on your TV?
I have his name and everything at the house if you want it, because the boys broke the TV, so he gave me a choice of fixing it or getting a new one.
What time did he come to the house?
He called me at around 8. He was probably there until around 10.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
And then after he left, I kept working on a paper, and I emailed the paper to a librarian at school to work on some of the citations.
Okay.
And I don't think I talked to anyone else, but I was just working for an hour or so from the house. I was going to take a shower, but I didn't. I ran out of time. I did laundry. Mm-hmm. And then I left the house around noon.
To go to the liquor store and the stuff for the party?
Yeah.
Okay, you went down which road you said?
I went down Trescott.
Okay.
I saw a police car there, and I just thought it was blocked, so I just turned around and drove to, I went down the rest of Centerville, went up Benton, took Benton across, went to ABC Liquors, bought the bourbon.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving down Trescott?
It's usually the shortcut to get to Monroe.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay, all right, so
I don't know why I said Monroe. I was thinking Mosaic, Monroe, Thomasville.
Okay, so when you come down into town on Centerville?
I almost always cut through Trescott.
Trescott and just drive by your old house?
Well, I do it as a way of, like, coming to terms with the divorce. But yeah, sometimes I drive there. If I'm too sad, I drive around.
Okay.
If the kids aren't home and I know they're not home, I feel better about driving by the house. But yeah, it's shorter and I just usually drive by.
It's shorter than going all the way down to Benton?
All the way down Centerville and around Benton. It's just a shortcut I always took.
Okay, so you turned around and went back to Centerville, I take it?
Yeah.
Down to Benton and went to the liquor store down there on Thomasville?
Yeah.
The one at Benton Road?
ABC Liquors, it's at, Benton. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Did you make a purchase there?
Yeah.
And that was sometime after 12?
Probably 12:30.
Okay. All
and I talked to a guy there because I don't really buy much alcohol, and so they wanted bourbon, and I asked the guy. We had a whole conversation about bourbon and my eyes, like.
Your eyes?
He just said your eyes are really blue, and
you have contacts?
I do.
Okay.
But I just remembered it.
Right.
So I bought the bourbon and got some gas on Thomasville and met my friends at Mosaic.
Which gas station did you go to on Thomasville?
The one that's, I always forget the name, but the one that's close to the cross street. It's right next to the Goodwill.
Okay.
If you're heading north on Thomasville. If you're heading north on Thomasville, it's on your right.
Okay. Just past the Goodwill
Just
place?
past the Goodwill. It's close to the intersection there.
Okay. All right. And then from that point, you went straight to the...
Went to Mosaic.
Mosaic restaurant?
And met friends there. I used to have kind of a steady Friday meeting, and I hadn't seen my two friends in a while. And so we had made plans to meet up.
What time did you get to Mosaic?
About 1. I was a little late. We were supposed to meet at 1, and I got there a few minutes after.
Okay. All right. I know it's cold in here. Okay.
I think that's not why.
Okay. I know it's part of it, but do you know anybody that would have a beef against your ex-husband?
He's, oh my God.
I hate to ask it now, but I have to do it now. You understand,
I understand.
right?
I understand.
Wendy's charade continues, telling the detective that she and Dan remain civil after the divorce and custody battle. She's trying to come across as a deeply hurt and emotional woman, saying that she can't drive down that old street, the same street that Dan was killed on, without getting depressed over the memories and the divorce. The detective will soon ask a question that should be expected. Does Wendi know anyone who would have a reason to do this? Is there anyone that she could think of that could have a motive, any motive, to take Dan's life? Gauge her reaction to this seemingly innocuous question for yourself.
I mean, he had friends. He always meant well, but he would sometimes rub people the wrong way.
Okay.
But not anyone who would do something like this.
Anybody that he owes money to?
No, he owes money to me.
He owes money to you?
But not me.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God, we're poor kids. Oh. I know a lot of people didn't really love him, but I don't know anyone who would do something like this.
Well, we're still trying to determine, what happened and how it happened.
But he wouldn't do this to himself.
Okay.
He was a very positive person.
Okay. No one that you know of or that he's spoken to recently that he's had some type of problem with or that he was concerned about?
No one that he was concerned about. I mean, we've been separated for 2 years, so I don't know,
right.
If he had something going on, I wouldn't know about it, but, I mean, I had lost my voice earlier this week, and so we had put off this conversation about, our son's school and where he was going to go, and he, I can't, I know a lot of people didn't love him, but not anyone who would, hate him.
Okay.
He meant well, everyone that knew him knows that he means well, but he can be a little, argumentative.
Right.
But not, he didn't owe anyone money. He didn't do anything except work and take care of his kids. He wasn't involved in anything bad.
Okay.
I can't believe this is happening.
I know. And he was a professor at the law school, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And your divorce has been 2 years or the total separation, I'm assuming?
Total separation's been 2 years. Our divorce was finalized last summer around this time.
Okay.
He wouldn't do this to himself. He has a girlfriend now.
What's especially interesting is that within the roughly 15 minutes since finding out that Dan had been shot, Wendi has somehow come to the idea that Dan has taken his own life. The detective never alluded to, implied, hinted, or otherwise that Dan had done it to himself. In fact, at the time that Wendi was being questioned, he was still alive in the hospital. She keeps repeating that he wouldn't do this to himself because he had a girlfriend named Amy. Even further, she drops a potential person of interest. Dan's girlfriend, Amy, was also recently divorced. Maybe their divorce was especially vicious, and Amy's ex-husband took Dan's involvement with his now ex-wife as a reason to gun him down in his own garage. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sadly, Dan would pass away around dawn the same day.
Do you know his girlfriend?
I met her once in the last couple of weeks. She was visiting. She lives in New York.
Okay. Do you know anything about her?
I know some things about her. She's also a law professor. I know she's recently divorced and she has a son. I don't know if her divorce is final, but I think recently divorced.
Where's she a law professor
at NYU. And they seemed very happy, and I mean, I think that was a really good thing in his life. He seemed really happy about it. She came down here, she met the boys, and I met her, and she told me how great she loved the boys. You know, like it seemed fine.
Did she ever stay at the house with him?
Just that one time.
When was that?
I remember because I just got back from being with my family in South Florida. Sorry.
It's okay. You're doing great.
So, what date was it? I went with my family. It was my dad's 70th birthday, and we went home for it. So, his birthday was the 5th. I left Monday the 30th, so she must have come into town Saturday, the evening of the 28th.
What month? June? This past June.
Just now. So, June 28th, and then she was there with the boys the 29th, and then I met her on the morning of the 30th when I picked up the kids to take them to South Florida.
Do you know when she left?
I could probably find it, like in my email and stuff. I think she was here for like one more day, and then Danny went up to New York because I was with the kids in Miami for a good long while. I was there. I drove back July 10th, so I was there almost 2 weeks. And so I think he went up the next day.
Okay. Do you know her name?
I do. It's Amy Adler. Oh my gosh, she's
A.D.
A-D-L-E-R.
And she's a professor of law at NYU?
Yeah.
What kind of car does she drive?
I have no idea. I don't know she has a car. She lives in New York City.
Well, so, I mean, she was driving down. I mean, she flew down here, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have her phone number?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know how long they were dating even. It seemed kind of serious if she met the kids, but I don't really know. He's been going up to New York for like conferences and stuff since Lincoln was about a few months old. So he's been going up there 3.5 years. So my guess was that they might have known each other for a long time, but have been dating. I don't know how long.
Well, let me ask you something. Does his relationship with her have anything to do with your all's divorce?
No.
No, it had nothing to do with
No.
an extramarital affair or anything?
No, but the only thing I'm thinking is Amy. I don't know what Amy's full divorce situation is like, so if you're gonna think of someone who's not thrilled with Danny, I don't know how happy her husband or ex-husband is with the situation.
Do you know anything about him?
I don't know anything about him.
So you know Amy Adler, she's a professor at NYU. She was down here from the end of June through the first part of July.
I think just a few days.
Right.
Yeah.
As visiting. But he'd been seeing her when he goes to New York on these conference
Yeah.
trips.
Well, he's in New York. In the summertime, we have a week on, week off schedule with the boys. So whenever I have them for a week, he goes up to New York for a week. So he's been spending a lot of time up there.
Wendi has a goal. She needs to pull any attention and suspicion away from her and her family. Why? Well, the truth is that Wendi's family, namely her mother and her brother, despised Dan deeply. So deeply, in fact, that they almost certainly hated him more than Wendi did. Wendi's mother had previously made Dan an offer to have them out of their lives. If Dan would relinquish custody of the children to Wendi, Wendi's mother would give Dan $1 million in cash. Dan refused the offer. In retaliation, they would badmouth Dan constantly around the children, hoping that the children would change their view about him and never want to go back to live with him again.
Did he relate to you that he'd been seeing her up in New York, or that's where they met, or anything of that nature?
He didn't tell me about it, but I feel like he was pretty vocal with like our friends and people probably since December about her being his girlfriend. So,
okay. Who would be his best friend?
When we were still together, he had 2 best friends. Neither of them are in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm completely blanking on their last names right now.
That's okay.
Matt Price, that was his best man at our wedding. And Josh Berman, who, Matt is in DC and Josh is in New York. Actually, he has a friend, I don't know if they're so close, but he and the boys sleep over at their house a lot. They're in Cairo, Georgia.
Okay.
That's probably his closest friend here.
Do you know his name?
His name's Alex Greenberg. He's a veterinarian in town, and they've got kids around the same age as our kids.
He's a vet here in town?
Mm-hmm. And I think
do you know where his office is?
I don't. Maybe in Cairo.
Oh, he doesn't have an office in Tallahassee?
I don't think so.
He's a vet in Cairo.
Their house is in Cairo. His
right.
wife is a dentist. I don't know if her practice is in town or in Cairo either. His wife is Maya. M-Y-A.
Okay. You're being very helpful. Okay, I know it's hard.
I'm trying.
You're doing fine.
Believe what's happening.
You're doing fine. I know it's all of a shock. I know it's coming to you all at once. Okay.
I don't know who would do this.
Okay. Well, it appears from what we've seen so far that someone intentionally hurt Danny. Okay, intentionally. Okay, I don't think.
You don't know who it is.
No, and I don't
think. What if they come after the boys?
I don't think that's going to be. I have no indication at this time that that's a threat. Okay, but the boys are going to stay with you. You're not going back over to Trescott. Okay.
No, I don't. I don't live there anymore.
I know you don't. But the boys are going to stay with you. Okay, and they'll be fine.
I don't know if I can take care of them like this.
All right. Where's your closest family at?
My family actually just talked to my brother this morning. My parents are in Coral Springs.
Okay.
And my brother, I have 2 brothers, but I'm very close to one of them who is in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. All right. So that's where you're from originally, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
His family's in Canada. Did they know? Did you tell them?
No, they haven't been notified yet.
Oh, God. His parents are going to be devastated.
Okay. This is what I want to do, okay? This is what happened, okay? Daniel's been shot, okay? And we have to find out why and who did this. Can you help with that?
I will try.
Okay. What I want to do right now to try to expedite things, okay, but I need your permission, is I want to take your cell phone and download all the information out of it.
Sure.
Do you have a problem with that?
No.
Okay. And then we're going to make arrangements for you to get the kids, or we'll get the kids somehow, okay? Because the kids are at daycare, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to need their mother.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. I got to get a form for you to sign, and then I'm going to get the phone started, okay?
Oh my God. I have a lot of friends.
I know.
How do you know that?
Well, you had two of them up there for a last-minute lunch date, right?
Last minute?
Well, I mean, you went up there. You're sitting with them. You have friends.
I do. What I meant by it is that Danny didn't treat me very well, and I'm so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something like this?
Who would do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to, he makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right. That's okay.
I said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Well, you guys have been divorced for over a year. Has there been any type of abuse in that time?
Of him towards me?
Yeah.
No. It's, he's litigious, and we have an ongoing case because the house, it shouldn't be in my name anymore, but when we settled the case of our divorce, he said, one of the agreements the court said was Danny wanted to stay in the house. They said, you can have the house, but you need to pay her half of the amount of what the house is worth. And he agreed to it, and then months passed, and he just never paid me.
Okay.
And so we have ongoing litigation where I filed a motion in the court to have him pay me what he said he would, and he filed a counter motion for sanctions against my attorney because he thought that she did something wrong, which she didn't. But so, I mean, she withdrew from the case and was going to serve as a witness. I mean, she's not going to lash out at him for it. She's using the legal process to do it. My parents are, very angry towards him. But even when they're around my kids, they would never say a bad word about my kid's father. They're really, really careful about that. They just like him, but they know he's the father of my kids. They would never do that. Right. I don't know who would be angry enough with him.
Well, that's what I have to find out.
To do something like this.
The brother that you're real close to, I have to do a lot of elimination at the same time. The brother that you're really close to, the one that joked about the TV and everything, what'd you say his name was?
Charlie.
Charlie, and he's in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what kind of car he has.
He has like 5 cars.
Okay, tell me all of them.
He drives I think one of them is an unmarked police car.
Oh, really?
He's a bit of a character.
Okay.
So I don't know what he's driving at the time.
Right.
But I'll tell you, he's a periodontist, and he has this practice where he works from early in the morning till late at night. So if you ever wanted to find his whereabouts, he's working all day long until early in the morning till late at night, always driving to a different office working.
Oh, he goes to different offices?
Yeah, he works in different offices all over South Florida and does implants for people. And he works really hard all the time. He has a girlfriend, so he's pretty much accounted for all the time.
Charlie, is that his first name?
Charlie's his first name.
Not Charles?
I think Charles is his legal name. No one calls him that.
What's his last name?
Adelson.
What's his middle?
J-A-Y.
Wendy's anxiousness and worry about being a suspect looms thick in the air, and the interrogation starts to become a bit strange. The detective informs Wendi that Dan's family has yet to be informed about what happened. Her response? She hopes that they don't think she is responsible. The lack of sympathy and empathy that one must possess to have this be a dominating thought at a time like this is absolutely mind-boggling. Her behavior begs the question, does Wendi have a guilty conscience? Or does she have the underpinnings of being a psychopath?
Same spelling. Adelson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
What?
What? Oh my gosh.
What?
I can't believe this is happening.
Okay. All right. Let me go get the form for the phone.
Do I need to be read my Miranda rights or something if you're gonna look at my phone?
I can read you Miranda if you want to hear that.
I don't know, I'm just trying to make sure I'm being
I have no
protected.
reason at this point to suspect you in this incident. Okay?
I couldn't tell from the way you were talking to me in the car if I was a suspect.
Well, no, and the reason was I didn't want to get into everything until we got up here.
Is he
Okay.
still in the hospital?
He's at the hospital, yes. Yes.
And he's alone.
Yes.
And nobody knows he's there.
Well, you know now, and while I'm going to get this phone taken care of, I'm going to have a victim advocate come in here, and hopefully you can supply her with his parents.
Oh my god.
I'm assuming his parents would be his next of kin.
He's a sister he's really close with.
Where is she?
They're all in Canada. He's Canadian.
Okay. All right, they live in Canada.
They all live in Canada.
Okay.
His family's all in Canada.
Okay.
They're gonna think I did it.
No, now, just don't jump to conclusions on that.
Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening.
All right, let me go get the form for the phone, okay?
Oh my god.
Wendi would allude to an ex-boyfriend of hers, Jeffrey Lacasse, as a possible suspect. In her words, Jeffrey hated her ex-husband Dan because Dan had caused Wendi so much hurt and suffering in the past. With this new lead in hand, the police set out to speak with Jeffrey immediately. It turns out that he wasn't in the area when the shooting happened, which was verified during his questioning. It was also during Jeffrey's questioning that how Wendy's family truly felt about Dan came to light, and a new potential group of suspects was revealed.
Your name did come up,
Of course.
because you were associated at some point with Wendi.
Of course. Love with this girl, man, so it's hard. Because she really has this charisma, this sexuality, and so, you throw yourself in front of a bus for this girl.
And you've never had any kind of physical contact with Danny.
No. I'm surprised you guys didn't call me earlier, though, because I probably said 100 times in public that I like to kick his ass, because he kept, really making Wendy suffer and things like that.
Right.
But no, I would never. I'm a professor, I'm not going to do anything like that, no. The family desperately wants her back in South Florida. Mother, father, and she has a brother. They hate Danny in a way I've never seen this kind of obsession. Like their hobby is hating Danny. If I could just say, I would be investigating Charlie Adelson. No, I don't know if he did this. But if you're looking at somebody, don't miss him.
One of Dan's neighbors had seen an unfamiliar green Toyota Prius leaving the scene of the crime after hearing gunshots. That neighbor would find Dan wounded in his car and would be the first person to call 911. While investigators were tracking Dan's whereabouts that morning, they noticed that a Prius matching the description given by the neighbor had been following Dan's car very closely after leaving the gym. They were able to locate the Prius, which was being used as a rental car at a local rental company. Using rental records, the police were able to identify two men, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. With traffic cameras, security cameras, bus cameras, toll information, and cell phone records from both men matching their movements to Dan's, as well as ATM footage showing both men clearly in the Prius in question, police moved to arrest both men. While Garcia remained tight-lipped, Rivera immediately confessed to his involvement and told police everything that he knew.
We met him right in the garage. Garcia jumps out, goes around the car where he's driving. Dan Markel was on the phone that day. Shot him twice in the car. We left. Kid driving. My understanding when he was talking to me, first I thought it was going to be like a robbery.
Just a robbery. What gave you that idea? Why did you think it was going to be a robbery?
I'm a jack boy.
Okay.
I rob drug dealers.
Okay. So he was talking in terms of a job in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm thinking we finna go, okay, boom. But then he's like, man, it's not that. I'm finna go kill somebody. We're gonna get hired.
As the light of truth is shed on Dan Markel's murder, more and more involved parties are discovered. A woman named Catherine Magbanua, an employee at the dental clinic that Wendy's in-laws owned, had hired two men to assassinate Dan, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. An already tangled web of information would be further complicated when it was revealed that Catherine not only hired the assassins, but she herself was hired to hire them.
I asked him, who's hiring? He's like, Katie told me this lady's gonna hire me.
So he's saying Katie is the person between the woman that wants this done. Does he say the woman's name then?
Not at all. Why are you gonna kill this guy? Because the lady wants her 2 kids back. She want full custody of them kids. Because he had all the custody. That was the plan, that was the deal. That's what I went to go kill him. Garcia. Man, what's up with this lady? Why is she looking so much? He's like, oh, that's that lady. That's Wendi.
You saw her walking the kids. You ask him, he says that's Wendi. Right?
That's the conversation.
So it's not a question of if it's Wendi. He already knows it's Wendi.
Oh, he's already knows it.
Prosecutors would go on to say that there was insufficient evidence to charge Wendi or any of the Adelson family for any crimes related to Dan Markel's death. The gunman hired by Magbanua was actually the father of her children, Sigfredo Garcia. He was subsequently found guilty of first-degree murder after nearly 2 weeks of testimony in October of 2019. He was handed a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. His co-conspirator, Luis Rivera, was the one who worked with police and confessed to everything. Rivera was offered and accepted a plea deal as a condition of his cooperation. In exchange for information and his testimony, he received 19 years in prison. Catherine Magbanua's first trial ended when the jury deadlocked 10-2 on a guilty verdict. 2 people were now convicted and sentenced for Dan's assassination, but there were still questions left unanswered. Was Magbanua truly the mastermind? And if so, what reason would they have to kill Dan? And if not, who was the person who hired Magbanua? Nearly 8 years after Dan Markel's murder, on April 21, 2022, Charles Adelson, Wendy's brother and Catherine Magbanua's former boyfriend, was charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation of murder after new audio evidence revealed his alleged role in the plan to kill his sister's ex-husband. The incriminating recording was collected by FBI agents when Magbanua met with Adelson at Dolce Vita, a restaurant in Miami, in 2016. At the time, the poor quality of the audio prevented investigators from understanding the conversation, but thanks to technological advancements, they now had clear evidence implicating Charles. That same audio was used to retry Magbanua on the initial charges. Some people believe that this is unconstitutional and should be considered double jeopardy. The key difference is that for double jeopardy to be considered a defense against a retrial, the accused must have been acquitted or found not guilty, or has already been convicted and sentenced for the crime in question. Magbanua's initial trial ended in deadlock, which means that the prosecution has the ability to retry the case at a later date, and in Magbanua's case, they did. On July 29, 2022, Magbanua was sentenced to life behind bars without the possibility of probation or parole, as well as 2 consecutive 30-year prison terms after being convicted in May of 2022 for first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and solicitation to commit murder. During the trials of the now convicted, Wendi would take the stand to defend her family and herself against any claims that they were involved in the death of Dan Markel. Wendi's brother, Charles Adelson, is scheduled to go to trial in early 2023. Although he is innocent until proven guilty, it is likely that he will spend the rest of his life in prison.